You're listening to Little Rockers Radio, and today we are catching up with Maud again from Maud BR. Today we're talking to her about intuitions and going with your gut. Maud is a counsellor and a life coach specialising with women and transitioning into motherhood. Hi Maud, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you, and you?
I'm really well, thank you. Now, I was reading through some of your information and you talk about intuitions, but you talk about informed intuitions as opposed to just intuitions.
Yes, well, informed intuitions come in two steps. The first step is you learn about a situation. So I make some research about what to expect with a newborn or what to expect with a toddler, so that you have a bit of a frame of what is normal and not.
Yep.
And then the second step is, in this situation that you already know a little bit about, you connect with your intuition. So it's a situation where I use my intuition to decide what to do. So let's take the example, for example, of a newborn. So a newborn starts crying and actually effectively has colic. Now, if you don't know about colic, you might panic because you can't understand what's happening. Therefore, in your head, it's going all in panic mode, and you won't be in a situation to use your intuition. This is why it's important to know a little bit about the background. But if you know about colic, then you can start using your intuition, connect with it, and feel where your baby needs relief. And really, you will do that by trial and errors. But if you tell yourself, okay, my child's been crying for an hour and a half, I know that colic is something that exists, so let's not panic and let's just try to feel what my child is feeling.
Now, why do we become cut off from our intuitions? Why do we start to doubt ourselves?
Well, if you don't mind, first I'd like to just explain why it's so important to be connected to our intuitions with a baby. And I have noticed that so-called lucky parent of easy babies, oh my God, I've heard that so many times, because these parents report using their guts as a compass. And, well, to me, it's no secret that their children is easy baby. So why is it so important? It's because babies are 100% instincts. They don't have that cognitive development. They feel cold or they feel hot. They see the light. I mean, it's so different from what they're used to during the 9 months they grow in the womb. They can't say, oh yeah, today it's 4:00, so it's normal that it's bright, and at night it's midnight, so it's normal that it's dark. Mm-hmm. No, they are 100% instincts. So if you can feel your instincts, well, then you can connect with your baby, because you are speaking the same language, and you can start understanding their needs, actually feeling their needs. It's also, you will feel your own needs, which we talked recently on a topic about how it's very often overlooked to look at our own needs, but how it's so important. Mm. And when we are connected with our needs, we can also connect with another human being's needs, even though this human being is very, very little. So by connecting with your instinct, you can connect with your child, and that means you're on your way to have a happy baby and be a happy mom. Now, the issue is, indeed, it's very common to be cut from our instincts. Why is that? Well, there's a first level of explanation, which is that we live in a consumption society. We live in a society that is very much promoting not to connect with our instincts. So that's just like a superficial explanation, but there's a much more serious and deeper explanation, which is often related to our history. Now, I've done a whole webinar on this. In short, we may have been wounded in our past, but it may have been that at some stage in our past, we have not been seen or valued in this ability to connect to our instincts. And so this intuitive, organic way of feeling has been cut. We have put in place some protective mechanisms that we create in our mind, which means that today we are cut from this ability to feel instinctively things because of these protective mechanisms. So just to continue on this, so what happens as an adult if we are cut from our intuitions, then we cannot understand with our mind why a baby behaves in a certain way, okay? Because a baby changes all the time their patterns. So if we try to use only our mind, we're going to be very quickly blocked and unable to connect with what the child is trying to communicate. And therefore we doubt, and maybe we even panic. But if we know the broad range of what to expect, like you just say, with the informed intuition, and we use our intuition, we can then start understand better and open to our baby's communication cues. Because the thing is that you will read about all these cues. Your child will have some of them and will not have others. And it's the whole adventure, and it's an amazing adventure to learn what are your own child's way of communicating. And this comes from, you will really feel it.
And don't be hard on yourself because it takes time.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. As I said at the beginning, you learn this through trial and errors.
Now, how do we reconnect or get back in touch with our gut? And how important is support from family or partners with that process?
Yes. Well, first of all, I just want to take just a second to say what, in order for us to recognize what are not intuitions. Advice from others is not intuitions.
Yes.
Our own principles, this one is a tough one because it's coming from ourselves. But we sometimes have ideas on how things should be done. These are not our intuitions. These are ideas we had right from the start.
Yes.
What internet says, neither are our intuitions.
No.
So how to reconnect? The first thing you can try is to step back, take a deep breath, and try to feel in your body first what's happening. Forget about what you think about the situation, what you think you should do, what you think you should know, but rather try to connect with your trust in your ability to understand your baby and see what comes up. I remember when I tried swaddling my baby, I didn't have a very good intuition about myself. I didn't feel very much like being swaddled myself. But anyway, I tried it. I was waiting to see how he was reacting. And then I saw that indeed my intuition was right. But he may have actually locked it, and then I would have changed my, you need to remain open and be just like, okay, I may have an idea, but let's just be open and see how my baby feels. And you feel what your baby feels. That's the amazing thing about being a parent, is that we feel what our baby feels. If this doesn't work, it is possible that you may need to seek help from people like me who will help you go through those things that have cut you from your intuitions. It's very, very important when you do this to choose people who will not tell you what you need to do with your baby, but will help you to feel your gut. This is where the focus is. I'm very big in saying that only you know what your baby needs. I don't, your mom doesn't, your neighbor doesn't, only the parent really know, or the carer at the moment can feel. Now, you talk about the support. First of all, it's important to discuss with your family and your partner, particularly, the partner or your if you have members of the family that are very close to you and very involved, to just say, please be patient. Baby and I are learning. Your baby is learning every day new things, and so are you. And accept to let yourself try. And it's very important that people around you understand that. Again, you can tell them, please accept to let me try without judging me. And I know grandmas can come with, or nannies can come with amazing advice, and you can certainly listen to what they say, but you need to then step back and make your decision yourself. And to be honest with you, my belief is almost that it's better to not have advice, to read yourself information, and that the reason is that when you don't have advice, it's easier to connect with your intuition.
Yes.
Because we naturally think, oh, look, my mom's done it before, so she must know. But I was a different baby than my baby is. your mum lived in a different time. We did things differently 30 years ago. And when we can't do it, well, that means that we may need a little bit of help. And, sometimes it's just a matter of talking for an hour and going through a couple of things, and that's it. And then suddenly you have this connection coming back, because it is a natural thing in us. So it's not lost forever.
And times change, don't they? I mean, back when our parents or our grandparents were raising their children, it was much more of a community focus. So there was a lot more support from family then. And some families nowadays have a lot of support. Some families don't have much support at all. Relatives are interstate or overseas or what have you. So learning to go with your intuitions or your gut, regardless of who's around, is important. And it's also important to remember, I think, that babies change. What works one week may then change the following week as they grow. So it's not a case of being hard on yourself and saying, well, this worked last week, why isn't it working this week? Because they change as they grow so much.
Yes, and this is why using intuition, which is really based on feeling, is so powerful. Because when you think, then you have to change your way of thinking, where when you feel, it's just that what you feel is changing. But you still do the same thing. You still feel. Yes. It's just that what you have to feel is different. It's like smelling a flower. If you change flower, the smell will be different, but you're still doing the same thing, smelling. So it's the same. It's about feeling what works, what your baby needs today, rather than thinking. And there are techniques, to recognize that, this I'm feeling now rather than thinking. Because sometimes it's not always easy. We are so used to think that we think we feel, but actually we're thinking. And I mean, I work with mums and dads on that, so I know it's not always easy. But it's all about, it happens deeper. It doesn't happen in our head. It happens deeper in us.
Yes, yeah. And it is very hard to connect. And I think it's even harder when you have a newborn and you're not necessarily used to having a baby. I'll talk about my own personal experience here. I had never held a baby before. I'd never been around children before. I was, there was no other nieces or nephews that were around. And I just thought everything had to be textbook, because I read books that said everything is the same. But I learnt very quickly, and obviously that all went out the door with my second child. But it was a really hard process to get through that first period when you're really, really, really tired as well.
But knowing that you will just adapt, because you will follow your gut, is really make it less hard.
Now, this conversation and all of our conversations can be found on the Little Rockers Radio website, which is littlerockersradio.com.au. And on the website, there is also links to Maud's website, which is maudbr.com. So if you want to find out anything more about Maud or her services or what she offers, or you have any questions for her, then hop on over to her website and get in touch with her. Thanks very much for joining us today, Maud.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks for listening to Little Rockers Radio.